So this is my new favourite slider. It's the Shark Slider Nano by iFootage. This is a bi-directional 2-axis slider and it's pretty impressive. Let's take a closer look. Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. Now, sliders can be used in a number of different ways. For me, it tends to be within my product videos where I'm just giving a little bit of movement just to make the scene a little bit more professional and a little bit more interesting. And I combine still shots where there's no movement at all, like this, with something which then moves a little bit. Again, it just gives a little bit more professionalism to the video that you're making. They can also be really helpful when trying to put effects on videos. Here, I'm going to pan around very quickly, slow at the beginning, slow at the end, and faster in the middle. And here, I'm going to magically make the boxes appear. Here, I've created one slide with nothing there, one slide with the product there, and then just blended them together. Now, although I don't use it for this, there's plenty of people that will use a slider as well for creating stop motion videos and also time-lapse videos. And it's brilliant where you can just set the timer to go for as long as you want, and I'll go through that in a second, to create some really good effects. It's very, very clever, everything that you can do with this little device. In my opinion, one of the biggest advantages with this slider is its size. It's called the Nano, and that means it's small, but this is the bag that it comes in. Compare that to my other slider, GVM, and it is quite astounding, the difference. Just to let you know, I have never ever taken my GVM slider outside of my home studio, but with the iFootage Shark Nano slider, well, I probably would. This thing is so portable, it will easily fit into a carry-on case or a suitcase if you're traveling on a plane. There is absolutely no problem about taking this anywhere that you go. When you do open it up as well, you'll see that there's one compartment which holds the actual slider itself, and then there's the other individual compartments for the individual bits and pieces. And here you've got all of the attachments for various different cameras, the battery, there's also a phone adapter, and again I'll show you that in a few moments. The slider itself is incredibly well made, it's very sturdy, yet it only weighs 2 kilos. It has a payload capacity on a desktop of 3.5 kilos, on a tripod of 2.5 kilos, and in vertical mode at 2 kilos. There's tension screws which are quite firm to the touch on the actual top there, and to attach it to a tripod is a little bit annoying. You just have to spin it round. You do have to therefore be careful when you take it off. It's definitely an advantage having that option of the vertical upright as well, and that will give you some just extra types of footage, whether it be with a phone like I'm using it here or with a DSLR camera. But just remember that you do have that slightly lower payload when you've got it in vertical mode. You can only put 2 kilos on it. Now, there is a big advantage to having this set up on a tripod. You'll actually get double the length of slide. Because this is bi-directional, not only does the camera slide along the axis, but also the slider slides as well. So as you can see, you're getting a lot more slide on the left-hand image here than you are on the right. So in desktop mode, you'll get around 200mm, whereas on the tripod, you'll get around 400mm. So that just gives you a lot more flexibility and a lot more scope to create probably a longer and more effective slide length. Great for time lapses. One thing that's a little bit annoying is every single time you do have to turn the slider on, it will go into calibration mode. Now, I've sped this up 8 times, but it will actually take 1 minute 25 seconds. Now, you can choose to use the really informative app, or you can use the screen on the left hand side. I prefer using the touchscreen because it is so simple to operate, everything is straightforward and follows a logical pattern. You can literally set it by just pressing a few buttons and you're ready to go. You'll see from my setup here, not only have I got my A6600 there with a lens on, but I've also got a 3-way head. Now, this weighs in at around about 2.8 kilos, but it did a brilliant job. There was no problem with the slide at all. When you're ready to go, I used the quick start method, which was a simple press on both buttons at the same time, and then I was able to set point A on the slide. This, in my opinion, is by far the easiest way of using this slider and the quickest if you're doing a lot of scenes. So I moved it over to the right hand side, set the position of the camera, tilted the pan in, as you can see the camera is pointing in towards the middle, and then I was happy with that position, so I pressed the FN button or you can press the A button on the actual touchscreen. You then move to point B where you want it to slide to, and again you can move it over to the left hand side and tilt the pan into the middle again so you get that arcing effect, and then click either B or the FN button again. Set the time duration, then click on origin, and it will take you back to where it was starting. And then as soon as you're back here, you can then set play on the slide, record on the camera, and then you've got your slide set. Now, in terms of the footage that it delivered, it didn't really make any difference at all whether it was fast or whether it was slow in terms of the slide length. It did a pretty good job. Now, it does require a slight amount of stabilization within post-production, and I'll show you what I mean, especially if you're doing very, very close work. So this is the shot from around about 3 or 4 feet away with the lens back, and as you can see it does a very smooth job. No stabilization has been applied to this image. But if I were to zoom in on the lens, then you'll see that it's a little bit more shaky, and it does pick up those micro movements. And so here you would definitely need to put some type of post-production afterwards, post-stabilization. You can also create really good panoramas. So for this video I did about the reflections on a TV a few weeks ago, you can see that I've used the slider with the camera pointed outwards on both sides, and it's literally done a full 180-degree sweep of this room. Now, to give you an idea of how flexible this can be, if you were to really want it to spin right round multiple times, then again you can do that. So you set the first point to wherever you want to be, which I've already done. The last point I've set to here with those spins in the middle. Take it back to its origin and then click go. You can set the timer for however long you want. And as you can see, you get the slide where the camera is spinning round more than 360 degrees, and this is going round twice in fact, but you're unlimited to what you can do here. So it just makes it so much more flexible. I mentioned earlier that you can do all of the same settings on the app, and again it's very simple to do. So it's really whatever floats your boat, whatever suits you best. But you can set the 2 different access points, the pan and also the slide, and also the time, and then just let it go from controlling it via your phone. So overall, my favourite features about this slider are how well it does the job. That's the most important thing. How simple it is to operate, and also the size. It's available in 2 different versions, a standard version and a bundle. In the bundle you get the carry case, you get the battery, and you also get the shutter cables. If you're wondering which type of shutter cables come with it, well, a whole host of different cameras are supported. I will have links in the description which will go through all of that for you, and link to the very latest price in your location. So this thing is packed full of features, and here are all of those features crammed onto one page. But certainly my main highlights are the lightweight, compact, portable design. You can obviously use that smartphone app, but I prefer just using directly with the touchscreen display. I love using this on the tripod as well. Having double the amount of movement I think is really good. The sound, I didn't mention that in the review, but you do not pick up any sound at all. It is very, very silent in its operation. So if you are in a quiet interview type situation that you're interviewing someone, you don't have to worry about that. You obviously have got the fact that this will support either DSLR, mirrorless or smartphone recording, and you can do a lot more within the app if that's which way you want to go. It does say no wait time, but I did add in there apart from the calibration, because that's something which I would like to see maybe change in a further update, where you don't have to calibrate it if nothing has changed, where you get maybe the choice to be able to calibrate it. Another really great feature is the fact that if you are running low on battery, you can plug this in and charge the battery and still use it via an external power supply. So you don't have to worry about always only having to have that battery. It is definitely an advantage having that backup. But these batteries, they're the same ones that I use for my lights, and they're the NP750s I believe, which are not that expensive anyway. So all in all, this thing is absolutely rammed with features. So my friends, I do hope that if you are in the market for one of these type of sliders, that this video has been helpful for you. If it has, then please do just give that like button a little bit of a hit. And if you're not already subscribed, well then why not hit the red button, and you can follow me more on my social media channels. Thanks so much for watching this video, my friends, and I really do look forward to seeing you on the next one.